Alright, hi guys, and welcome to another reading vlog. Today, well, I was going to say today we are starting, but I've already started. I read the first chapter. I always like to read the first chapter before I decide for sure if it's going to become a reading vlog, and it is. So, as the title tells you, it's pure nosiness that is making me read this. I don't often read fantasy. No real reason, I just don't, you know. It's not what I'm drawn to, it's not my favorite. But for years on YouTube, I've heard people talk about this series. And so finally, wow. So in my book here, I've got this beautiful Edgar Allan Poe bookmark that, I don't know if it's focusing, that my friend Lyndall sent me over Christmas, and that's what just went flying when I picked the book up. Anyway, what we're reading is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and I'm excited to see how this goes, to see what all the fuss is about, because I'm a nosy bitch, okay? That's why. Anyway, let's get started. Let's just get to it. I almost started refilming this intro because of that, but I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. So you guys might remember me complaining all last month that we had no snow, that it was going to be a green Christmas, and it was. Well, we got some snow now. And more than that, more than this, look at this. It's minus 23. It is so cold. With the wind chill, it's almost minus 40. So I just got home now. I'm going to go inside and make some lunch. Earlier today, my mom dropped off some homemade pea soup, so I'm going to heat that up. It's so good. It's my favorite soup. And she made the doughboys. I don't know what you call them. Nope, where you guys are from. Maybe dumplings. But back in Newfoundland, we call them doughboys because they're little dough boys. You put in your soup. Anyway, let's go. Today's the perfect day to get cozy and start reading this book. I just saw in that last clip, I look like an absolute turtle. I'm trying to become one with my jacket. Alright, so we're back inside. We've had lunch. I'm getting ready to have a piece of a Terry's chocolate orange with my coffee for dessert. And we've got the book. So we are going to settle in and get reading. Okay, it's the next day now. My glasses are all fogged up. It is so cold today. Let me check. Yeah, it's minus 31 now. Sorry for the noise from the heater, but I cannot turn it off to film. It's too cold. So yeah, I've just come out now to go see Ed for lunch, and I've got to run to the grocery store to get a few things, and then I'm going to get back home and get reading. I only got the first 2 chapters finished yesterday. Basically, the first one sort of sets it up. We meet Farah. She's in the woods hunting. Her family's starving, so she needs to find something. She's not sure she will. Then she sees a deer. Then she sees a wolf, but she's not sure if it's a wolf or a fairy disguised as a wolf. So she kills it and the deer. Well, it kind of kills the deer. Anyway, she gets it home. And then chapter 2, we meet her family. They're all terrible. Her sister's terrible. Her father, not a fan. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so it is later in the evening now. I just stopped reading for the night, I think. I'm over 100 pages in on chapter 12. Still got my little bookmark here. It's not trying to murder me this time. Anyway, so basically, I'll kind of get you caught up to where I am. So as I last mentioned, Farah, her terrible family, what happens in the next chapter is she's at home, kind of snuggled up by the fire with her family. Am I to focus? Okay. So she's at home, kind of snuggled up by the fire with her family. It's winter, it's very cold. All of a sudden the door blows open, okay? Standing in the doorway as the snow and wind is rushing in is this giant wolf. So remember how I told you she killed that wolf. Wasn't sure if it was a real wolf or a fairy wolf. Well, now there's this other wolf at her door, and it's like, murderer, it's yelling at her. And she's like, they're terrified. So it's screaming at her. It wants to know which one of them killed the other wolf and took his skin. Eventually she's like, you know what? It was me. I did it. So you can settle down because it was me. And you know, her family, her sisters, her dad, they're all cowering in fear, as you would be. Like, I get it. And she's like, listen, could you, if you're gonna kill me, could you do it outside? I don't want you to do it in front of them. Like, they might be the worst, but don't do it in front of them. So he's like, oh, you're just gonna let me do it? And she's like, yep. Because he tells her that, like, because, okay, there's so much to tell you. So back a long time ago, there was a war, because I guess before that, fairies and humans kind of lived together, but the humans were the slaves for the most part to the fairies. There's a war, okay? A treaty's drawn up, sort of a peace treaty. They're separated by an invisible wall, and it's like humans can't go over there, the fairy won't come over here, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So anyway, this wolfie came over. Farah kills him because she wants that deer. That's why she killed him. She wanted that deer. And she's like, listen, I didn't know he was a fairy. But even if he was, I didn't know that was in the treaty. And the other wolf's like... So the punishment is a life is taken, basically. So she thinks that's going to automatically mean that he's going to kill her. But he's like, well, not necessarily, girl. I can take you with me back to the fairy realm. And you can live out the rest of your puny mortal days with me. She's like, I don't know. But, like, really? Either get eaten by this wolf or get to go live in a fancy house with a fairy king? Or, I don't know if he's king, but, like, nobility. Well, we don't know this yet. I'm getting ahead of myself and I'm getting out of order. Anyway. So she's like, when do I have to go? And he's like, right now. So she's like, okay. She's trying to tell these people, trying to give them quick rapid fire tips for how to feed themselves once she's gone. And then off they go. And it's a whole journey. It's like a few days journey, but like a couple minutes in, she's conked out. And then she wakes up once they're there because he used his magic to put her to sleep. So they're there now. And yeah, the rest of the chapters have kind of been her just settling into her house, because she's like, or into the house, not her house. His house, Tamlin is his name. And then he's got a pal, Lucian. They're kind of both just chilling in this house. And so is she. And she's like, what am I supposed to do with my life here? And he's like, I don't know, do whatever you want. And she's like, what do you mean? Because she had thought, like, okay, he's not going to kill me, so he's going to do something worse once I get to his realm. But he's like, you know what? Have fun. You do you. One thing she notices when she's there is they're all wearing masks. Like, literally everybody in the house. The servants, the noblemen, they're all wearing masks. And she learns from him that there was like a weird magic thing about 50 years ago that was cast upon them, where they can either shift into animals, or they've got, when they're in their humanoid form, their human-like form, when they're the fairies, they have these masks on them. I don't know much about that yet, so I'm not going to talk too much about it until I know more. So yeah, she's just chilling and trying to get to know Lucian. She has this thought, like, if I can get him on my side, maybe he can help me find a way to get out of here. Because her mother's dead, and so before her mother died, she promised her that she would take care of her family. And Tamlin, like, she's expressing this to him, and he's like, listen, I took care of them. You don't have to worry about it. They're better cared for now than when you were there, so don't worry about it. So, that's where we're at. I'm not going to be able to, so I keep thinking, like, I can't do a breakthrough of this whole book because it's over 400 pages. This vlog will be 16 hours long, so I got into it a bit here, but from here on out, we're going to keep it brief, and we're going to keep it cute, neat, and to the point. So I'll just kind of hop in whenever there's something that's like something major happening. Anyway, it's freezing cold out. That's all I have to say about that. It's 3:30 in the morning. It's minus 34 degrees. I came out to the car because I had already started it as many times as I could with the, you know, auto start from when you're in the house. Oh my god. Luckily, the cold snap that we are currently in the middle of will be over on Tuesday. So it's currently Thursday night / Friday morning. So by Tuesday, it won't be this cold. It'll be like minus 15, and that's bearable. Well, despite my best efforts through the night to keep her going, she died this afternoon. So we're getting a boost now. It's minus 50 with the wind chill. And so I think tonight we're going to go out to Mom's because she's got a garage we can put her in for the next couple of nights where it's in the minus 50s with the wind, and just sleep out at her place. All right, hi there, guys. It's the next morning now. It's Saturday. I kept wanting to say Tuesday. Definitely not Tuesday. So I'm at Mom's. I think we're going to stay here for the next 1 or 2 more nights. We stayed here last night just because it's too much out there. Anyway, I did some reading last night. I got to chapter 17. So far, it's just mostly more like exploring the grounds, exploring the house, getting to know a bit more about Tamlin and Lucien. He just asked her, like, oh, what do you want to do with your time? And she was like, I like to paint. So, you know, nothing exciting's really happened yet. But I actually heard on TikTok, I heard someone say, the first book is the price you have to pay to get to the rest of the series. So, we'll see. I also want to show you this lip gloss I got for Christmas in my stocking. It's from Bath & Body Works. It's beautiful, shiny lip gloss, but it's mint. So it gives you that burn when you need to know that something's helping your lips. And I just love it. It's so nice.
Well, we're heading out right now. It's beautiful. So cold that the car is actually freezing up on the inside just from driving. Let's see, it's like minus 40, minus 50, something like that with the wind chill right now. So disgusting, but my God, beautiful.
So I told them earlier we stayed at Mom's last night. So now we're just going into town, visit the dog, feed her, flush the toilets, turn the taps on, grab some lunch.
Yep.
All right. Hello. Good morning. It's Sunday morning now. We did very little aside from just hang out yesterday. As you saw, we went home, checked on everything there, then came back out to Mom's, and then I was just reading most of the day. So I'll show you where I'm at. So I'm on chapter 31. I'm enjoying it. It's still fairly slow. Like, not a ton is happening, but it's you know, setting everything up good for the series, I think. I'm really liking Tamlin. But I know I've heard from the girlies on TikTok that that's not going to last. So I'm prepared for that. But, you know, they've just been getting to know each other. And then there was this whole thing. And then the other fairy from the Night Court, I think, Reese, I don't know how it's pronounced. I've never heard anybody say the names. But he, showed up at the house, and there's this whole thing, and now Tamlin's terrified. And so he's sending her back to the human realm to be with her family. And then she gets there, and she sees, because, earlier in the book, he had told her, don't worry, your family's taken care of. Because she was like, I made a vow to my dying mother that I would always take care of them. So once he gets her over to the fairy realm, he's like, listen, don't worry, they're taken care of. So now she gets back to where they're living. She sees her in a huge manor, just wealthy, living in a huge house, back in society, want for nothing. And that's just about where we're at now. So her sister Nesta just told her, I know, I'm onto you. Because the story had been that, they were glamored by Tamlin to believe that. It's chaotic retelling, I know. They were told by Tamlin that she had gone to stay with a dying relative. A relative that didn't exist, right? But they're glamored to believe it. But Nesta wasn't. Her mind was impenetrable by this by this guy. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, oh my lord, this part I just got to. So back when Feyre met Rhysand in the castle officially, when Tamlin and Lucy were there, he asked her name, and she, instead of making up a name, she gives the name of a girl that lived back in her village. Like, why would you do that? Just make up a name. Anyway, so she's just learned from her father now that whole family has been slaughtered. The girl whose name she used is missing, and the rest of the family's dead. So I'm guessing, like, Rhysand sent someone to kill the family and take her, like, to punish Tamlin or whatever. Why would you name someone you knew? All right, so don't mind the bad lighting in here. This is my last check-in looking like this from the bed. But Feyre returned to the fairy realm. She finds the castle in disarray. Alice is there. Alice tells her all the history of everything, of the curse, of why they all have masks on. I won't go through it all here. So we find out that it was this whole thing, that Tamlin was the one who sent the wolf across. He kept doing it, because he needed a young woman to kill it with hate in her heart, so that he could bring her back and get her to fall in love with him. So now she's like packed up her little swords and her bow and arrow, and she's going under the mountain to where the high fairy queen is. Alice is like, she's gonna kill you, so get ready for that. All right, hello, it is Sunday evening now. We're back in town, and I think we're spending the night at home tonight. It's warmed up a little bit, and it's not supposed to get too bad tonight. At least that's what they're reporting, so we're gonna hope they're telling the truth about that. But I had to run up to the store, and look at this. All of the Christmas lights downtown are still on. All of them. Even at the end of that street behind the clock, the town tree is still up. And it's January 14th. So I've got about 80 pages of the book left. I'm hoping to finish it tonight so I can finish this vlog and get it posted either tonight or tomorrow. One thing that's really cracking me up, though, is there's a lot of talk about her painting. You know, he got her all the art supplies. She's a really talented painter. And in my mind, I keep projecting my own level of painting ability onto her. So she's like holed up in this room doing all these paintings, but then in my mind they look like what I could do, and that's very poor. Here, I'll insert a drawing I did a few years ago when my daughter was still like in elementary school. A few years ago, she's 19 now. It's like, say, 9-10 years ago, she had to draw a moose and a beaver or something. I can't remember, but I was like, oh, here. She's like, show me how. I was like, I don't know how. She's like, please. So this is what I came up with. So that's what I'm picturing Feyre's art level to be. Okay, we're going to come now and finish this vlog. First of all, painted my nails, finish the book, and now we're going to talk about it. Things kicked off after I last spoke to you. What's going on over here? I don't know. Anyway, things kicked off since I last spoke to you. I'm not going to go piece by piece through it, because if you've made it this far in the vlog, you've probably already read the book, or else you have no context, so you're just kind of here for the ride, which, if that's the case, I appreciate you so much. Well, if in either case, I appreciate you so much. But yeah, so there was the whole thing under the mountain where, so Freya gets down there, and it's a whole thing. She goes with her little knives and stuff, as I was telling you, after she leaves the human realm to go back, and she kind of gets it all pieced together, how it's, you know, it's kind of a Beauty and the Beast retelling a little bit, not a retelling, but like inspired by maybe. There's a curse on the kingdom, the whole bit. And she's met with the, you know, the High Queen. I don't know how to pronounce her name, which has been a running theme through this vlog. I think it's like Amarantha. And she's like, here's what you're gonna do. It's like all the fairies are down there. Rhysand's down there, Tamlin's down there, the whole bit. And she's like, here's what you're gonna do, because there's been beef. It's why the Spring Court fairies have their masks attached to their faces. It's why all the fairies are missing their powers. There's this whole thing with this woman. And so now she's like, here's what you're gonna do. There's two options here. I'm gonna give you 3 tasks, and if you complete them without dying, Sure, I'll release the kingdom from their spells. All the courts. She's like, or I'll give you a riddle, and if you can solve that, I'll immediately. You don't even have to do the 3 things, because the 3 things are going to happen like over 3 months. So she tells her the riddle. She's like, I don't know what that is, and I didn't either. I don't know if any of you out there read it and figured the riddle out right away. I was not one of those people. So she starts doing the tasks. She does them all. She does them all. And, oh, in the meantime, while this is all going on, Rysand is kind of visiting her sporadically in her cell. And he's making deals with her. He's helping heal her. And one deal that gets made is that for the rest of her life, 1 week a month, she has to go to the night court and spend it with him. And, you know, you get the idea he made this deal just to rile up Tamlin. And Tamlin's down there when all these, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? When all these challenges are going on. And he's stone-faced. Like, he's not smiling at her. He's not making eye contact, nothing. Because he doesn't want Amarantha to feel as though she's getting to him, you know, in any way. He wants to play it cool. So she makes that deal with Rysand because she is dying. Like, she got the shit kicked out of her. She has a fever. She's dying. And so that deal gets made. And I'm assuming that's going to come into play in the second book. She manages to do all 3 of the challenges, but then at the end, which one of the challenges include her killing 3 innocent people. So she does them, and then Amarantha's like, just kidding. I only said I would lift the curse. I didn't say when. It'll be whenever I want it to be. So then Feyre figures out the riddle. She's like, the answer is love. Which when you go back and read it, you're like, oh yeah, the answer is love. And so immediately the curse has to be lifted because that was part of the deal. But it hadn't been part of the deal. Like, the immediate release of the curse hadn't been part of the deal for the challenges from the beginning, but it had been for the riddle. So then she gets killed. Tamlin, like, gets his strength back, his powers back, and he just slaughters her. And again, she's dying, and all the like high lords of the courts come and sprinkle their little powers on her. She wakes up and she's now also immortal. So her and Tamlin, they go back to, well, before they do, Rysand comes up to her and says goodbye. And right as he's about to poof into a shadow, because that's his whole thing, he's like bowing to her, and right before he goes to poof away, he looks at her and she sees him, and his eyes get wide and his nostrils flare, and he's obviously shocked by something, but then he's gone. So I'm guessing that will be interesting in the second book as well. So then her and Tamlin go back to the Spring Court, and they're getting ready to enjoy their lives together. So that is A Court in Thorns and Roses. I enjoyed it. Like I said at the beginning of this, it was my nosiness that got the better of me. I saw so many of my friends on Goodreads have it on their red shelf, 5 stars, 4 stars. And I was like, I can't read this. I can't read this. Because here's why. It's not because I didn't think I'd like it. It's because, if you want to know the truth, I worried I would like it too much. And I was like, I have enough books to read right now. I can't start adding a series to my list because I don't read series. I read standalone books, horror, thriller, literary fiction, anything. But I don't read fantasy. I don't read romance, and I don't read series. So I was like, I can't start this. Because I knew I would like it, and I did. And I've heard so many people say, like, the first one, just get through the first one. The rest are so good. So that's got my interest peaked because I liked this. So if the second one's even better, that's very exciting. So I've already ordered the second one, which is, I believe, A Court of Mist and Fury. So if you enjoyed this vlog and you would like to see a reading vlog for the second book, please tell me in the comments down below. And if you do, I will do a vlog for it. I don't want to bore you if you're not interested, but I hope you will be interested. And if you're new here, if the word ACOTAR in the title drew you to this video and you made it to the end, please subscribe and tell me if I should read the second book and do a, well, I'm going to read it. Tell me if I should vlog the second book. And yeah, I hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope it was warmer wherever you are than what it was here. And I will see you again real soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.